going to be reading out of Gilmore Guardian. This is the first book in the Gilmore series. The series, The Holy Grail, starts out with my life story, then blends in with with Rory Gilmore's life story. This is the start of Rory Gilmore's life story. So this is if Rory Gilmore was writing a script. So I wrote a spec script for like a Gilmore Girls movie where Rory is finishing her book, but it's really terrible, and everyone's trying to tell Rory about how terrible of a writer she was. Because that's how it was with me. I had wrote for like a long time, and just nothing ever came of it until I started writing Gilmore Girls, and it's really been kind of my niche, and it's taken off on the internet, so it's really cool. And by taking off, I get a couple of views. I'm just kidding. I have a couple of videos that are pretty popular. But so, if all those people bought books, next thing you know, I'm out there like swimwear. So let's read. Home Home is nowhere. Dean was her home, and he is gone. So just to recap, Dean dies. So Dean dies in a car accident like Johnny, because if Rory is Stacy. So my life story is now Rory's life story. Rory believes that she is Stacy Day, and so she starts reliving Stacy Day's life story to make it interesting, and because I want to get the attention of Warner Brothers, because I want this to happen. I'm not putting all this work in. Like, I want something to come of this, so that's why I sit here and talk to myself every day, and hopefully somebody out there sees it and get a director. But Jesse's going to be my director, so Jesse's going to make the movie. He's going to get some video cameras, and we're just going to make the movie. We're going to do it. It's going to happen. I think it's coming sooner than later, so everyone get excited. Anyway, so he is gone, and the clips of Rory running as an adult, flashing in and out of her roles as Gilmore Girl. And I hate when I look like I'm grumpy all the time. I'm not grumpy. I'm in like in a really great mood. Anyway, in the clips of Rory running, in the clips, let me slow my speech down. I'm a little symptomatic. In the clips of Rory running as an adult, flashing in and out of her roles on Gilmore Girls, the memories of Dean are her main focus. She is searching for home. This is Stacy's dream in the beginning of her healing journey. She runs in her mind looking for Dean. But Dean passed away in a car crash. When Rory is unsure, she can't remember as she gets older. She thinks it is after the Yale mixer, so she doesn't remember when Dean died. So that's the whole thing. So she's trying to remember. So we find out. So like the audience goes like, he died, and then so what happened, like we want to know, but Rory is trying to tell us what happened, but she doesn't remember. So Rory's writing is her trying to remember the events of Dean's death, which is my story, because I grew up and I started to forget Johnny's story because of my schizophrenia blocks a lot of my mind. I have a lot of neurological symptoms because of my schizophrenia. She runs in her mind looking for Dean. What we read? When he left for the last time. So Dean, the last time that he was with Rory was after the Yale mixer. So did he die after the Yale mixer, and he wasn't alive in the year in a life? But I think I tell how he died, but I'll just keep that a secret so you find out, because I don't remember. I write a lot. And Dean saw Logan. This was the much like Johnny, Stacy, and Jeff. So the last time I saw Johnny, I was with Jeff, and I was very all over Jeff because I was young, and I was just all over boys when I was 17 and 18-year old. That's just who I was, and I hung out with all of them. They all were friends, and they all just that's just how we were back then. And I was with Jeff, but I saw Johnny. The last time I saw Johnny alive was by the horse barn at the fairgrounds. So I go to the fair now. I didn't go to the fair for a long time, but now I go to the fair and I walk the horse barns. I get me a slushy and walk the horse barns and say hello and goodbye. His real death was after she told him he was her safe. So after he left, that's how he died. So I tell you. So after he left Dosie's, he gets in the car and that's when he dies. So, but nobody, but that might be a delusion. But it's not a delusion because Johnny isn't alive. But I'm not a writer of Gilmore Girls, so the writer of Gilmore Girls would have to say. But this would be like a movie of a schizophrenic girl obsessed with Gilmore Girls. So we would use the Gilmore Girls actors to play out the movie, and but it would be very Alice in Wonderland, and it would be like a film by Kirk would be most of the thing, and Rory trying, and it would be Rory and Stacey Day's head, and Stacey Day would be like Joey King. There'd be a lot of Stacey's because I have a lot of different personalities. She will lean on Marty for comfort, and if you don't know, Marty is Josh and Stacey's. So who is the Josh and Stacey world is Marty, because I was trying to manifest Joshy to marry me, but it's probably not going to happen, but you never know. Marty's storyline will come later. Who will see Marty in her dreams? Was it Marty all along? Rory will ask herself many questions after every dream. Dreams will be a focal point of her storytelling with Rory, unpacking her boxes of her life and mind. And in the dream, she runs through Marty. He opens his arms for a hug and then runs through him, which is what my hallucinations feel like. Like when I feel these intense hallucinations of usually men I'm attracted to, and then they're not there. So this last year I wrote about like dealing with my attractions and stuff, because that was a big, had really some serious stuff that I had to work through, and I did. In the dream, she runs through Marty. This theme is how Rory feels in her waking life, never able to hold on to anything, a relationship, a job, or a home. She so desperately wants to be accomplished like she knows she already is. She wants greatness while at the same time want a quiet life like her mother had. Scene 10. Rory snaps out of a fantasy. Rory stays stuck in and out of dream fantasies, trying to draw more storyline. Back in real life, Rory, 2017, Rory finishes MA school pregnant. So when Rory gets pregnant, she goes to community college and becomes a medical assistant like Stacey Day is. And then she works for Paris Geller because Paris Geller is a doctor, and doctors need medical assistants. They hire medical assistants because it's cheaper than hiring an RN. But medical assistants give shots, do point of care things. Medical assisting is a great career, but it's a lower, you don't make as much as an RN, but they're paying medical assistants more. I think medical assistants should make about $23 an hour. LPNs make about 27, and nurses make about 32, 30 to 30 up to $40. Nurses are very valuable. And I've worked with a lot of nurses, and I've wanted to be a nurse, but I can't pass the science and math. My brain just don't work like that. I can't. I've taken the test. Before I knew that Jesse was about to marry a nurse, I was trying to get into nursing school, but I couldn't pass the basic learning test because it's not, it's my brain that ain't there no more. And I was like, God is wanting me to walk through the door that Jesse has open for me. So Jesse has this fame door, like it's open for you. Walk through it, but you have to do the work to get to the door. The door don't open unless I turn in pages. When I turn pages in, then the door starts to open into the world, the magic world of is Stacy famous or not. I believe that this is my reality. So that's how every single day I do not waver from what I want to be my reality, which is to have a media company with my good friend, with my old friend Jesse. And that's why I named him my old friend, because I knew he was going to break my heart and fall in love with another person, and he did. And I'm really Jess and Rory and Gilmore Girls. Rory and Jess would be almost better with Jess married to Paris Geller. So in Gilmore Girls, Jess is going to marry Paris Geller. And I wrote the story. I had sat and thought, I was like, I'm going to write the wedding, but I kind of already wrote everything that I wanted to write. So now it's like building the content for the movie and really intertwining the Jesse Stacy story into Gilmore Girls, because it's going to be more Jesse and Stacy's story, a docu-series about how we're so obsessed with Gilmore Girls that we have manifested ourselves into the storyline. And then Rory Gilmore's book comes out, Gilmore Gold, and the world will be able to buy the Rory Gilmore book, which is my ultimate manifestation goal. So full steam ahead on that. But Gilmore Guardian is the first book, and this is like what Richard Gilmore would want a snapshot. So, like, my uncle Jerry, who passed away this year, he is much like Richard Gilmore. Like, he would be like, let's get down to business. How can we make this profitable and not waste everyone's time? Because I'm an adult. If I'm putting time and energy into stuff, I work as if I'm making $1 million an hour because I want $1 million an hour. That's what I want. Like, if I can manifest anything, I'm not going to make $1 million an hour, but you never know. One day I could all of a sudden have $1 million in my bank account, and how would my life look? So Rory Gilmore would have all that income. She would get her inheritances, and she would have all this income. And what she would do is she would write and write and write because she's so smart. And she would. We know that Rory Gilmore is going to be a champion, which is my story. Like, I have to be Rory Gilmore. I have to be a champion mindset. So that's why I'm trying to really work on my mindset this year, because I can be very melancholy and very, and we don't want to do that anymore. So thanks.